Happy Thursday. Welcome in, guys. We got another great show for you tonight. It is November 6th, Thursday Night Football. We have the Raiders and the Broncos going tonight, so we get some AFC West football. We're going to hang out here for a little bit. I see all your questions in there already, guys, so thank you. I'm going to get to those shortly. I'm first just going to rifle through the practice player news today that we need to keep an eye on leading into the weekend. This one was weird. Torrey Horton not practicing with the groin and the shin injury. Cooper Kupp did practice limited today, so we'll watch the Seattle Seahawks receivers for this weekend. Don't know what's going on with Brock Purdy, man. This is like his 14th limited practice in a row, but he's not really cleared yet with that turf toe, whatever he's got going on. No Ricky Pearsall either, so 49ers will check on them tomorrow. Puka Nacua will play. He's fully practicing, so good news for Puka. We got the Eagles Monday night game going here, so they're going to have their first practice report today. We got Saquon in full. We have A.J. Brown in full as well. Nick Chubb limited. He didn't practice yesterday, if you guys remember. He practiced today. He's on track to playing. Brian Thomas Jr. officially not practicing on Thursday here. I'm expecting him to be doubtful heading into Sunday here, so big news for Parker Washington, and Jacoby Myers will be startable as well. Tampa Bay, still no Bucky Irving, no Chris Godwin. I think Chris Godwin's droppable in a redraft league, honestly. I'm not super excited to have Chris Godwin on my team right now. And the Bucky Irving thing is frustrating. It sounds like the shoulder injury is more of the issue than the foot. So we'll see. He's not playing this weekend. I feel pretty good about that. Another weekend of Rashad White and Sean Tucker for you. Tomorrow, we're going to have to keep an eye on this one. Harold Fannin not practicing today with the hammy. If he doesn't practice, that makes David Njoku a top 10 tight end. So we'll see about that. Ramondre Stevenson with the toe injury, Kayshon Boutte hamstring. I don't expect either of these two guys to play, and probably maybe another week or two for these guys as well. So for the Patriots, you're starting Travion Henderson. I think Terrell Jennings should have been picked up already. And then Demario Douglas might be the guy you're looking for. Aaron Jones with the shoulder and the toe. He gets a limited day in after not practicing yesterday. That puts him on track to play. I don't know how effective he's going to be with these two injuries. He could easily ding those up again. So we'll watch for his reports tomorrow. Bill Krosky-Merritt back in full. Terry McLaurin does not practice today. Not super excited about Commanders. Ollie Gordon limited with that ankle. Good news for him. Michael Pittman Jr. back in full. So good news there. He did not practice yesterday, just precautionary day off. Same thing for Rico Dowdle. He was a precautionary day off. He's limited today. James Cook practiced as well today after the scare yesterday. So good news for those running backs. DeAndre Swift practicing in full today as well. So it looks like he's going to be back. Garrett Wilson says he will be back. And Matthew Golden limited, so Packers flex opportunity there. Let me see if I got anything else. We're into the Wednesday news. So we got through the news real quick for you guys tonight. Let's have a good one here. Let's get to some questions. We got Sport Dog off the top. Good evening, my guy. The old 8-team PPR Superflex. He's got Monungai, Mark Stevenson on waivers, Quentin Johnston, Keon Coleman, Jay Coker, Booty Coker. Do I add a waivers receiver or say no in week 10? I don't want to cut any of those running backs to pick up a receiver. I do think Quentin Johnston should be owned. I don't think Keon Coleman, Coker, Booty should be owned in an 8-man league, but I think Quentin Johnston's on the list. But I'm not going to cut any of these running backs for Quentin Johnston. You can maybe move on from Stevenson. I think that would be the one. He's got the toe injury now. They're working in Travion and Terrell Jennings. If you're feeling the itch to make a move, I suppose Ramondre would be the one to go. And Jason, good evening, my guy. Half PPR, we flexing Monungai, Charbonnet, Marks, Watson, or Pierce? Alec Pierce has been pretty steady lately. I think with DeAndre Swift back, that does make me a little nervous about Monungai. We're looking at a good split, though, between those two. I think Monungai has definitely earned more work. They're also playing the New York Giants, which last weekend we saw the Bears take on the worst team against running back. That would be your Cincinnati Bengals. This week, they get the second worst team, 31st here, New York Giants. So it's a good matchup for Monungai. and DeAndre Swift. I my clarity is not very good on this one, how they're going to split these touches up. I do expect Monangai to play. I think Charbonnet, not super excited, but he does get a chance at a touchdown. And then Woody Marks with Nick Chubb being active. I like this matchup against Jacksonville. Jacksonville, though, is top 10 against running backs. So Christian Watson and Alec Pierce, those might be the two guys that I'm looking at here. Now, the Atlanta Falcons, pretty good against wide receiver. They've allowed 8 touchdowns. They're one of the only teams to allow under 1,000 yards receiving. It's not a great matchup here, whereas Green Bay, they're going to get Philadelphia. Philadelphia, middle of the road against wide receivers. Christian Watson's also had some big games against this Eagles team in the past. I'm kind of just vibes based alone. I'm thinking it's Watson for me. Otherwise, I think Monangai is going to be in for some volume. So I'm going to say Christian Watson, but if you're feeling Monangai, let's go Monangai. And good evening to Jerry. Hope you're doing well, my guy. Half PPR, we're starting one. Monangai, Harvey, Travion looks like Swift will play. Ramondre, questionable. I was talking to my good friend Jesse off on the side here. Just Harvey, he's a good player. He's a really good player, but he kind of just goes against everything that I look for. You know, in terms of snaps and routes, like he's only playing 20 snaps out of 63. So he's not out there for a ton of snaps. He does run about half the routes, which is nice. But only 2, like it's for me, it's just really hard to start a running back that's not getting any volume here. Only 2 rushing attempts. He did get 5 receptions. You're basically banking on a touchdown with Harvey tonight, which he has been scoring touchdowns, and specifically inside the 20, which is where he's been going in for J.K. Dobbins. So I'm interested in Harvey, but just the lack of volume really concerns me. I think your strongest play here is Travion Henderson, who's kind of guaranteed to get those 3, 4, 5 catches that Harvey's been getting. And then he's also going to get those double-digit touches. So I think Henderson has the best profile for you this week. I know he's playing against Tampa Bay, and they have a good run defense, man. They're one of the better teams here. They actually do yield quite a bit of fantasy points here, but they don't allow rushing points. They 570 yards allowed, 6 touchdowns. They're kind of really good against, or really bad against, wide receiving backs. So to me, I'm ranking these guys as Travion, Monangai, Harvey. I think we hold out here. It doesn't look like Ramondre is going to play, and I think Swift is going to play. I think you play Travion here if everything goes to fruition. And this is going to be one of those calls where I'm watching this game in about a half an hour. If Harvey scores, man, I'm going to feel gutted. I'm going to feel terrible. But the data suggests Henderson's your best play. I actually don't hate I don't hate Tez Johnson. We know he's going to be the number 2 receiver. He's been so in terms of snaps and routes for Tampa Bay. This weekend, though, against New England middle of the road, you're kind of hoping for a big play or two from Tez Johnson. I think Monangai is going to be safe. I think Monangai, Swift, you're probably looking at, I don't know, 12 to 15 touches for Swift and maybe 10 to 12 touches for Monangai in this one. It's just really going to come down to who scores a touchdown in this game. So maybe I would look at the DraftKings game odds and see who's the better play for a touchdown. But I do think Tez Johnson catching 4, 5, 6 passes in a full PPR, I think I might go Tez Johnson here. All right. Mason, Harvey, Parker, Franklin, Watson. You have Dobbins too. I think I'm sticking with Parker Washington in the slot for Jacksonville. It does look like Brian Thomas Jr. is going to be out. I think Troy Franklin's exciting tonight against the Raiders. Like, I have a tough time playing, fringe startable guys on Thursday Night Football, but this is a good matchup for a guy like Troy Franklin. I would rather play Franklin over Harvey just because I know I can trust Franklin's usage a lot more. He's also leading this team in targets right now. So to me, it's really between Franklin and Parker Washington. Washington's been very, very good for Trevor Lawrence lately. He's got a tough matchup here on paper against the Houston Texans. I think it's Franklin. If you don't want to do Franklin, I think I'm going to hold out for Parker Washington, though. Pierce or Tez Johnson in a half PPR. I believe I have Alec Pierce ranked a little higher. I'm going to go to my rankings here. And you guys can check out the membership package on the Fantasy Fellowship. It's $8 a month. You guys can do a 2-week trial for $5 if you're interested. But I do have my rankings up here today. And I have Alec Pierce here, wide receiver 38, Tez Johnson, wide receiver 42. So they're both really, really close. I'm going to lean Alec Pierce here, I guess. But it's really close. It's really close. Man, DJ Moore played really well last weekend. I do have DJ Moore higher than I thought I would. I got him up here at wide receiver 20. Addison, still with JJ McCarthy, it's not a high passing volume. Baltimore's fully healthy. They had 0 guys miss practice over there in Baltimore, so they're healthy. I'm going to play DJ Moore here over Addison. And good evening, Double Tap. Hope you're doing well. I hope everyone's having a fantastic week as well. We got a lot going on, and it's so fun, man. We play fantasy football as a distraction from the world, and I hope that I got 28 people in the chat with me here tonight, so I appreciate everybody hanging out. The fact that they're taking out their time to hang out with me on a stupid YouTube live stream, it's pretty cool. So I appreciate everybody. Thank you for hanging out with me tonight. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe if you are new. Sports Dog is saying I'll be using Brock Bowers tonight. We're starting CMC and Vidal in the RB spot. Is Vidal going to stay starter? Maybe I need to use Mark. So Kamani Vidal didn't have the best game last weekend after dominating Thursday Night Football a couple of weeks ago. So he's still the starter, though. Snaps 47 out of 65, so that's about 2/3. The routes 24 out of 39, again, about 2/3. He only got 12 carries, though, 0 targets, 0 receptions in this one. And they were able to run a lot of Jarrett Patterson. So it just wasn't really working. But the fact that he was out there for all these snaps and routes is encouraging. I think my rankings are going to have Kamani Vidal higher, maybe by a good 10 or 12 spots. So let me just take a peek here at my ranks. I have Vidal RB22 against Pittsburgh here, and I do have Woody Marks RB28. I still like Woody Marks. We did see the floor last weekend, and that also was not good. Jacksonville, sometimes they're a good defense, sometimes they're a bad defense. You also have Davis Mills playing, and that might have affected some things. I think I'm going to lean with the better offense. That's going to be the Chargers against Pittsburgh on Sunday Night Football. I think it's Vidal. And good evening to David. Oh, man, we got Juwan Johnson. We could pick up Luke or Theo, as JJ has next week bye. Thoughts? Okay, so the Rashid Shaheed trade could potentially open some more things up for a guy like Juwan Johnson. I don't hate playing Juwan Johnson, but if you're looking ahead, Rashid Shaheed led this team with 9 targets last week, 5 catches. That maybe we're looking at 5 to 7 targets for Juwan Johnson going forward. So I still think he's a good play this weekend. Let's take a peek here. I want to see how the Panthers are against the tight end spot. Because if it's not great, we could probably move on. And again, if you don't want to roster a guy and clog your team for another extra week with him on bye, I totally get that. So Carolina, where are they? They're middle of the road against tight end. So this is not a bad matchup. I think I would have Juwan Johnson ranked higher than both of these guys. But if you wanted to take a crack at Luke Musgrave, they're going to get a team here, Philadelphia, who's been pretty good against tight end. I do expect Luke Musgrave to probably catch 3 or 4 passes in this one. So despite the matchup, I still think he can be okay for you. And then Theo Johnson, who's been kind of locked in. He's got a really good chance at a touchdown this week. I think if you want a guy for this week and next week, it's probably Theo Johnson. Luke Musgrave's not a good blocker. He's going to be out there for mainly pass catching duty, so he's not going to be blowing us away with his snaps and the route participation. I think they're going to use a lot of other tight ends. So I think it's probably Theo Johnson for me, which in that case, I think I give Juwan Johnson the start this weekend, David. And we worry about tight end next week. I would recommend maybe looking at Brenton Strange if he was dropped for week 11. Um, yeah, I did see Tyrod Taylor was back practicing, but I think they're at the point now where they did what they had to do. They gave Tyrod a shot, which kind of perked up Justin Fields again. Tyrod gets hurt, Justin Fields gets a win. I still think this is Justin Fields' team for now. He would have to really do some bad stuff, I think, to get taken out for Tyrod Taylor one more time. It's a tough matchup this week against Cleveland. I don't expect a ton. Cleveland has not allowed a rushing touchdown. They haven't not allowed even 100 yards rushing to quarterback. So it's a tough matchup. I think you're still going with Justin Fields this week in a super flex. I haven't heard anything on if Tyrod Taylor is going to be expected to start. So I'm operating as if it will be Justin Fields. DeMercado, Ty Johnson, or Charbonnet. Man, it's not Ty Johnson. We did get good news on James Cook today. It sounds like James Cook's going to be fine. Let me open up my ranks here. I think I have Charbonnet ahead of DeMercado. DeMercado did take advantage of the carries last weekend that he was given. He also was behind Bam Knight on snaps and routes, which I thought was weird. I thought the roles would have been reversed because I view DeMercado as a really good pass catching back, but they actually let Bam Knight do that for them. So I don't have a lot of faith. It's also a tough matchup in Seattle. I'm probably looking at Zach Charbonnet here. I have him at RB26. Go on farther down here. That's where I have Emari DeMercado. I'm going to go with Zach Charbonnet here between those three. And good evening to Lucius. Sit one. Oof. Oh, Dobbins or Genty? My goodness, that's a terribly hard question. My rankings say Genty over Dobbins by a spot or two. They've been doing some different stuff in the red zone. Like the first 5 weeks, I think Dobbins had 4 touchdowns. Hasn't scored a touchdown in the last month. And yeah, he's going to get those 14 to 15 carries, which is nice. But they've been using more RJ Harvey. We've seen Bo Nix doing different things. I think it's Ashton Genty in this one. And I mean, he started catching the ball nice last week. Maybe we see him used more as a receiver again. I think it's Ashton Genty, despite maybe the tougher matchup here. But I get the concern. I'm going to go Genty here by a hair. Yeah. Dulcich was sneaky good last week on Thursday Night Football here. He ended up, this was, I believe, his first active game with the Dolphins. And he ran only 23 snaps out of 64, but he did run 20 of the 43 routes, which was the most routes for a Dolphin tight end. And he turned that into 5 targets. So, like, that's 25% target per route run, which is pretty solid for a tight end. So when he's out there, he's getting hyper targets. So I don't hate it. I still don't have a lot of faith in Darren Waller returning at any point this season. Like the season's kind of going whatever way right now. I think Dulcich can hold down the fort. If you need an emergency tight end, I think I'm fine with Dulcich this week. Let me see where I had him ranked. It might have been kind of lower. I might have to move Dulcich up a tad. I got him at wide receiver or tight end 29, but I think as I'm looking at this, like I might play him. I might even prefer Dulcich over Evan Ingram right now. So I would move Dulcich up if I were to update these rankings right now. So I don't hate that call. I think that's a good one. And I do want to say I've been harping on it for the last week or two. If you guys are in need of a tight end, look for Brenton Strange on your waiver wire. He's going to be kind of hidden because he's not projected any points this week. If you filter by points scored on the season, he should rise to the top. He's going to probably start practicing next week. He has a chance to play week 11. And I just think with the injuries to Brian Thomas Jr. right now and that ankle, you also have Travis Hunter out for a few more games. Brenton Strange will be a busy guy when he comes back. And he was a borderline tight end 1 when he was playing earlier in the year. So I think he's a sneaky add for you if you need a tight end. And I did add him in a couple of my leagues this week. Let's take a look at the start-sit charts for tonight. I don't know if we need to talk too much about it. I do think Trey Tucker and Troy Franklin are good plays tonight. I think Tucker out there as the main wide receiver 1. He's going to lead the team in snaps and routes. I think Jack Besh, if you guys have a free spot, to add on the end of your bench right now, Jack Besh is worth looking at. I think he might be the slot receiver tonight. That's kind of what he did in college, and he's always been kind of pegged as the Jacoby Myers replacement. Well, Jacoby Myers is finally gone, so we might be looking at a nice opportunity for Jack Besh. Great question here from Mr. Double Tap. Let's look at I don't know where the stadium is in Denver. Let's go ahead and just look at the Denver weather for this evening. Partly so. Let me go to the evening here. We got no rain. Looks pretty mildly warm here. This looks pretty good for a night game here. A little bit of wind gusts of 11, 5-mile-per-hour winds, though. This looks like a pretty solid game tonight. So I think no concerns for me on the weather tonight. I did see Monday night football, Packers, Eagles. It's going to be wind gusts up to 20 miles per hour, probably about a 10-mile-per-hour steady wind. And then it's going to be like 24 degrees. It's going to be a cold, slightly windy game in Lambeau on Monday Night Football. So take that into account if you need to. I'm excited about this Sunday Berlin game here. Falcons at the Colts, technically. I kind of want to get my guys in on this game. Michael Pittman, Alec Pierce, Josh Downs has been playing good. Tyler Warren's kind of taken a back seat the last few games, but I think you're still starting him if you have him. This might be a Kyle Pitts game. The Colts do allow tight end points, and let me pull that up here. I mean, the Colts in general are a pretty solid defense, but they do allow a lot of fantasy points to wide receivers and tight end. In fact, like that's 17 and a half points allowed to the tight end position here. If I go to those numbers here, that would put the Colts 29th best here. So I do think it's a bit of a Kyle Pitts game this weekend. Obviously, it's going to be a Drake London game as well. Giants Bears. I think this might be a fun game here. The Bears playing really well right now. They're on a nice little win streak. You got Caleb Williams playing well. They're running the ball well. They're making big plays in the passing game. Colston Loveland, I have him ranked as a tight end one, but I don't quite think he is quite as high as I'm thinking that he will be, because now we have Cole Kmet playing healthy. And I did just see the question here. Let me go to NFL weather. Let's take a look here at David's question. So we do have I'm in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. On Saturday, it's going to rain all day with a chance of snow Sunday evening. It's going to be really, really cold up here in the Lake Michigan area on Sunday into Monday. So I'm seeing a chance of a few showers here as well. Might be some running the football situations here. We got chance of rain in Miami, definite rain in the Jets game it's calling for, chance of rain in the Carolina game, chance of rain in the Seattle game, and then some rain here in Washington. So it looks like the weather, we're in November now, guys. We're starting to get some of those windy, cold, wet games here with chances of snow. So time to brace for that. Let me see what else we got here. So, man, so as a Jordan Mason owner, I don't have any Aaron Jones in any of my leagues. I was looking forward to maybe a game with Aaron Jones out, but he was limited in practice today. And I believe there's a quote somewhere, the Antonio Brown shit, get out of here. I did see Aaron Jones practice limited today with his shoulder and his toe injury. And then he did have a quote where he expects to play. So if you're bracing for Jordan Mason as your running back too, I might be looking elsewhere. It's against Baltimore. And I saw a stat today. Baltimore Ravens, they had like no guys miss practice, and it's week 10 of the NFL season. It's like very rare to have a complete team healthy practicing. So I'm not super excited about the Jordan Mason outlook. And even if Aaron Jones does play, Jones looked really good last week against the Detroit Lions. I don't know if we have a Jordan Mason outlook that could be good. Obviously, if Jones is out, that's great. Yeah, I'm going to play Jordan Mason in that situation. But I think right now it's looking like Jones will play. And I'm going to try and find a way to get Jordan Mason on the bench. But we still don't really quite know. We haven't seen a true goal line situation from this team with both of these guys healthy in the last couple games. Maybe there's a chance Jordan Mason continues to get his, 7 to 10 carries and a touchdown, but I'm not feeling too good about it. I think I would, like, for me, I'm probably going to be starting Terrell Jennings over Jordan Mason in the one league that I have that situation. So I am concerned about Jordan Mason. Um, yeah, I think it's set up well for Rico. He did kind of get a day of rest on Wednesday. They've said that they were going to be cautious with him and make sure that he stays healthy. He was in and out of the game against the Packers last Sunday, so he is nursing some bumps and bruises. But he practiced limited today. I think if we see a full practice tomorrow, that's good news. I do expect him to play, and against the Saints, you know, that's calling for snow, rain, whatever it is. We could see a lot of Rico Dowdle in a situation like that. So I still have confidence in Rico. I've always had confidence in Rico, but I think he's going to be, to me, he's still a top 10 running back play. And yeah, I want to see a good game. The Raiders really showed some promise with Brock Bowers last weekend against the Jags. They did go into overtime and made some fun things happen. Denver riding a huge winning game streak tonight. We'll see if they can protect that at home. I do think we get a good Geno Smith game tonight. I think the Broncos offense, though, is going to kind of be able to do what they want. So it's truly up to Geno Smith, Brock Bowers, Trey Tucker, and Ashton Genty. Can those guys make enough plays to get this thing going? So a lot of fun here. But anyways, I'm going to get out of here for the evening, guys. I'll go live Sunday morning, 10:30 a.m. Central Time. If you guys want to check back with me, I might even go live tomorrow evening. We'll see. Just to kind of I kind of like doing the Friday practice report update and getting you guys set. Otherwise, enjoy the game tonight. Again, thank you guys for hanging out with me on a Thursday evening. I appreciate your attention and your questions and just hanging out with me on a Thursday evening. I really appreciate it. So good luck, guys. Hopefully you get everything you need or everything you don't need, whatever it is. We'll see you guys soon. Peace.